flute players, we've talked about the head joint, the body, and now we are finally reaching the bottom of our instrument, the foot, okay, or foot joint. All right, so I'm going to zoom in a little bit on this and show you that my instrument's got 3 keys right here. Some of you will only see 2 right here. So if you see 2, you have what's called a C foot flute. And if you see the 3, you've got a B foot flute. That means basically that you are able to play 1 note lower than a C foot flute, but no worries, we generally don't see those low Bs in our music very often. And so some things about your foot. Again, we have the keys, we've got the rods. At the end of the rods where these little round parts are, there's a screw right there that we're going to check on Maintenance Mondays and make sure those screws aren't backing out. Okay, and a couple other things. Right here, we've got a couple of keys to keep an eye on and make sure that we're not squeezing or putting it in the case incorrectly. We want these keys to stay in alignment because if they get bent and they start rubbing on one another, they will not move correctly. All right, and we also have a couple roller bars here. If you have a C foot flute, you're only going to have 1 roller bar. All right, now I wanted to wait until I got to this part of the instrument because it's much easier to see, but look up underneath the rods. You see how there's some really skinny metal pieces up underneath the rods? Those are our springs. And if you can see right in here, the spring has a little catch where the spring actually sits inside of, and this is what provides the tension that pushes our keys back up. And so every now and then, if you get a key that's all flippy-floppy, that's got no tension and it's just kind of flapping in the breeze, chances are you've dropped or jarred your instrument and one of those little springs has popped out. Let's see if I can show that on the video. So I have just popped this spring out. It's no longer sitting in the mechanism. It's actually out of the mechanism. You can kind of see how it's down at an angle a little bit instead of flat across. And so that's a quick and easy fix to pop that spring back in. I can just use my finger and pop it in. Okay, if you think you've got a spring that is popped out, they are on both the foot joint and the body. There's quite a few of them. If you think you've got one that's popped, let your director know. This is your foot joint.